Today I have the opportunity to introduce our speaker. Willa Lefever was born and raised at Sonnewald, which is a 60-acre chemical-free farm located between York, New Salem and Spring Grove in the very large town of Stonerstown, Pennsylvania. Willa's parents, Harold and Grace Lafever, were advocates of all aspects of sustainable living, and this passion was then, of course, passed on to Willa. After graduating from Spring Grove in 1969, the free-spirited Willa moved to Maryland and got a job feeding trees. In the early 70s, she briefly attended Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa, and worked there for several years at a local natural food store. Her next adventure took her to Seattle, where she helped to open a new branch for a large natural food co-op. A few years later, Willa found herself working in San Diego, where she was able to continue bringing the knowledge of her upbringing to use growing wheatgrass for a natural food store with a juice bar. And you have to remember, the year was 1981, and there were probably not many, if any, juice bars around. Today it's very popular, but I'm sure 36 years ago it was pretty unheard of. After her father's death in 1986, Willa moved back to Sonnewald. She and her husband, Bill, who is able to join us today, are co-managers of Sonnewald Natural Foods. Unintentionally started in 1955 and learning to be self-maintaining without hierarchy, the unique business is one of the oldest natural food stores in Pennsylvania. A self-proclaimed truth seeker, Willa is also the president of the Sonnewald Life Institute, which is an educational nonprofit that will carry on the legacy of Sonnewald. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Willa Lefever.
I want to thank the Rotary Club. Everybody at Sonnewald, we're so honored that you ask us to come and tell us about what we do. It's very, very special to us. Maybe a little bit of this and that might be special to you. My husband says I'm highly unrealistic what I can accomplish in one day, and he's absolutely right. But I say, but hon, it's because I shoot so high that I get so much done. Well, I'm probably highly unrealistic about what I can share with you in the next 20 minutes, but let's see how I do. Sonnewald Natural Foods, and the word Sonnewald is not a family name. Sonnewald is a Pennsylvania Dutch word, sort of, with a Pennsylvania Dutch being a German dialect. If we said it with a good German accent, we'd probably say Sonnenwald. Sunny Forest, it's the name of the farm. Okay, a lot of people stumble on that. So yes, Sonnewald Natural Foods is actually an LLC. My husband Bill and I are the co-managers of the LLC. It actually evolved rather organically, I like to use that word, when in 1955 my father bought a flour mill so that the Lafever family could grind the grain that was being raised on the farm and make our own breads and muffins and cookies and things. We didn't get a lot of sweets, but we did have homemade and whole wheat bread. But what happened is not too many people had flour mills in 1955. In fact, probably less have them in 1977, when it was 2017. So the word kind of got around that Lafevers had a flour mill. And one by one, gradually, very slowly in the early days, people would say to my mom, I hear you have a flour mill. Mom would say, yeah. They'd say, well, can you grind flour for us too? And Mom would say, well, yeah, I guess so. So she started grinding whole wheat flour for the occasional customer, or not necessarily customers, they were just friends at that point. We had no intentions of starting a business or having a business. It was just my parents enthusiastically sharing something that had value to them, that obviously a few people here and there also valued. Well, we were raised primarily vegetarian, so along with the flour mill, which was in the laundry room of our family's home. By the way, our home is, to our knowledge, the earliest solar residence in Pennsylvania. My father went to MIT and actually built that, sort of an experimental solar building in 1951. So anyhow, we ended up in the laundry room with washer, dryer, freezer, flour mill, and then because my parents leaned strongly towards vegetarian lifestyle and diet. Daddy would order a case of almonds and a case of cashews and a case of sunflower seeds, because vegetarians often use seeds and nuts as a primary protein source. Well, what would happen? Oh, and then he got us some raisins and some dates, and it sort of ended up, with the sort of a pantry. Well, and the laundry room was on the north side of the house. Well, that's the cool side, and if you're storing things, especially whole foods that don't have preservatives, you really need to keep them cool. So anyhow, the long and short of it, we sort of had the family pantry also in the laundry room, and when people saw the supplies there, they'd say, well, if you have a whole case, could you spare a pound or two? And the next thing we know, Mom is selling dried fruits and nuts out of the laundry room along with the whole wheat flour. So, Sonnewald Natural Foods didn't have a name until 1986, okay? From 55 to 62, it was in the Lafever family laundry room. From 62 to 88, and that's when Sonnewald has a name. Sonnewald Natural Foods actually had a name in 1988, okay? But Daddy passed away in 86, but from 62 to 88, it was in the corner of my dad's plumbing and electrical shop. Okay, from 88, and it's interesting, I came home when Daddy passed away, and I had absolutely no intentions of staying, and absolutely no desire to take on this little tiny store that was in terrible shape, considering that I had lived on the West Coast and had worked at some of the larger and just good stores, Anyhow, God had other plans, as He does, and so I told Mom, I said, in 1988, I said, I'll help you remodel the store. And then we're just going to have to trust that God will send someone to run it. Never in my wildest dreams was that going to be me. But anyhow, so we operated, we took over the majority of the building that had been my dad's, was Sonnewald Service. My dad was a plumber, electrician, and so on. So from 88 to 96, we pretty much took over that two-story block building, another experimental solar building that Daddy had built on the farm. And then in 1996, we moved into our current location, which also has a solar orientation. If you wonder why the building sits at this curious angle to the road, it's because all the buildings at Sonnewald are at least oriented to the sun. The building is 100 by 100, okay? The store is 8,500 square feet, and the residence is 1,500 square feet. You're probably thinking, well, why in the world is she telling us this? Well, it's a very unique design. There is a residence, I call it the elegant mobile home. It's long and skinny across the back, and that's where all the sun is. Remember, you don't really want your sun on your products, if you have a grocery store. You want your sun on the people. So we have a residence in the back, and it's all designed very, very sustainably. From 9 to 5, the residence becomes part of the store. So the bedroom has two desk areas in it. The dressing room has a desk area in it. Bill's office in the house is shared with another individual. Our living room and dining room becomes a conference room. It has an oval conference table. So it's all designed very, very sustainably. And I would like to be able to tell you that we were brilliant and designed it this way, and that would be a lie. We knew we wanted to live close to the store because there's always those deliveries that come in early and arrive late, and then you have refrigeration breakdowns, and it's just really convenient to be close to a business, especially something like a grocery store. Never in our wildest dreams would the residents become part of the business, but God revealed step by step that all of this behind the scenes office space and so on would be needed. We never thought about that. I have a high school diploma. My husband has a master's degree in recreational therapy. We don't really know too much of anything about running the business, but we have learned, and you learn through trial and error. So anyhow, if it interests you, we are open Tuesday through Saturday. Okay, we are not open Sunday. And we are not open Monday. However, we have a whole team there on Monday, and we have a team meeting every single Monday. Some of the unique features of the store are we really, really are committed to quality. We have, and we still grind whole grain flour. We still have a mill room. You can go to the mill room and ask for, we have several varieties of wheat. The soft wheat is great for pastry, and the hard wheat is great for bread making, and barley and millet and all that kind of stuff. So we know it doesn't make us any money, but remember, we didn't get into this to make money. We got into this out of just our passion for for living healthfully and encouraging others to do the same. But along with that mailroom, we now have a climate-controlled, self-serve bulk foods room. You will find this almost nowhere on the planet. And we keep high oil content or oil-rich nuts in the freezer. Things like walnuts and macadamia nuts and pine nuts and Brazil nuts and stuff. Most stores will display those at room temperature and they just turn rancid. So even our bulk room, which is, we set the thermostat at 55 with the intention to keep it right around 58 with the doors opening and closing. Even that cooler temperature is not sufficient for these nuts that have the really high oil content. And remember, now we're hearing about how good all those fats are, all those fats that we used to be so afraid of. We have a very large produce section, and everything in our produce section is either organic, certified organic, or grown by someone locally that we know well, who has been using sustainable practices for many years. We carry some unique products like raw milk, which is even illegal in Maryland and a lot of other states. And grass-fed meats, of course, non-toxic cleaning supplies. We're learning more and more how we're poisoning ourselves. We have enough environmental issues, and let's not make it worse with what we're doing to ourselves in our own homes. And we're even carrying some of the non-toxic cosmetics, which you notice I don't wear makeup and jewelry and all those kinds of things. But the team at the store has brought those things in. I'm very grateful because we tend to, as a society, we tend to want to look a particular way. How about we do that without compromising our health? And they even now carry some health-related gifts, such things as salt lamps, which have become actually surprisingly popular. And on your table today, there's 3 items. Actually, there's a Sonnewald brochure if you want to take it with you. Of course, we're online. But what I'd really like you to take with you is a little shaker of all natural salt. This is mined in Utah. And a piece of literature that looks like this that will help you understand that there's a huge difference between normal, highly processed and refined table salt and salt as it's found in nature. So if it interests you, you're welcome to take these with you. This is nice and small. You can throw it in a purse or a pocket when you go to Rotary. I am not a public speaker, and when I get nervous, I drink. If I had time, I'd tell you a story about the time I was working at a store in the Seattle area, and somebody ordered a 50-pound bag of corn. Well, we grind corn into cornmeal, but most people don't have a mill. And I thought, this is really unusual. So when he came to pick it up, I said to him, if you don't mind my asking, what do you do with that? He said, I make moonshine. So, you decide. The foundation of Sonnewald really is education. If you go back historically, like I said, we never sat around the dinner table and said, oh gosh, why don't we start a little store or a little business, maybe in 50 years people will value it. So at Sonnewald you'll find we have a very large book section, and it almost looks like the municipal library of a small town. Lots and lots of free literature, which is both at the store and online. And we've recently started showing DVDs in the store. And one of the reasons we're doing this is we're trying to figure out a safe way to expose our customers and ultimately the community to ideas that are currently outside their comfort zone. If you heard when Courtney introduced me, she mentioned, I consider myself a truth seeker. Okay, I was raised in the Christian tradition, but I consider myself first and foremost a truth seeker. The scripture does not say be a Christian and it'll set you free. It says know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I'm very, very concerned that we live in a time where there's more misinformation, missing information, just twisted information and just blatant lies than perhaps any time in history. So one of our jobs at Sonnewald, in fact a primary job, is to help our customers find their own truth about health and about sustainable living and just really about anything. So the thing is, how do you tactfully present information that's outside a person's current mindset without jeopardizing the success of your business. You know, like I want to put all kinds of controversial stuff on Facebook, and they're saying, no, 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 no. And I'm like going, but how? So anyhow, we are experimenting with different things. Right now we are experimenting with showing some DVDs on some of these, if you think about it, organic farming used to be controversial. Recycling was controversial. Composting. People thought my parents, especially my dad, was like a nut. Back in the 40s. What do you mean you're like solar energy? Are you some sort of a freak? So many of those things now we accept as being important and necessary. So the thing is, just because we don't believe it today, or we're not comfortable with it today, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not the truth. So that's really a huge part of what we do there. Of course, as I mentioned, we have a website. I think they even have an Instagram. I'm very, very low tech. So, but we are, of course, on social media. We attend a lot of community events, lots and lots and lots. I mean, if we can get somebody there, we go. And if we can't get someone there, we say, we can't get someone there, but can we send our materials? Because we really feel that we have a responsibility, not just to be a successful business, but to help to raise the awareness in our community, to help to improve the quality of life. I was so blessed by, where are you, Pastor? I was so blessed by your prayer this morning. We are called to be good stewards. There you are, Professor. Where you are. Here you are. God bless you. We are called to be good stewards of this body because it's really not ours. It is our temporary home and the earth as well. So thank you. At the farm, we do farm tours in the summer, especially as part of the Made in America tours, that the Convention and Visitors Bureau does. I do weed walks. Mom did those for decades, and I thought they were over when she passed. And a number of months later, I got this stirring in my spirit. So anyhow, I can't do a weed walk like my mom, but I can do a weed walk that I think you'll find valuable. And I do them for free. We also launched just this last year a Second Saturdays at Sonnewald, community building events on the farm. Based on the First Fridays, the downtown First Fridays things, with vendors and food and music, and once again, just to create more of a sense of community. We've all gotten so separated and we've become very disconnected in so many ways. And we also have, our staff is also very, very knowledgeable. We are very blessed to have individuals who are perpetual students of health. So we're not there to tell you what to do. We say that's God's job. Actually, it's both immoral and illegal for us to tell anyone what to do. But we love to help. Love to help guide people to discover their own truth about health. Some of the things that we do in the community. Hey, I'm doing really well here. Some of the things that we do in the community. We have sponsored the weather line for the past 16 years. I don't know if you're familiar with it. You all are pretty high tech here. But you can call 767-1000 any time of the day or night, and the weather line will give you time, temperature, and weather. Many years ago, there were two phone services in New York. The other one was owned and I guess overseen by Verizon. They terminated theirs. And interestingly enough, the Weatherline is a national company, and at one time they had like 140 Weatherline services around the country. They're down to around 30 or less because everything, people get their time and their temperature and the weather, on their phone or whatever. But the Weatherline in York is still one of the most heavily visited Weatherline services of anywhere in the nation, and it's probably because we have such bizarre weather. So anyhow, we provide that service to the community, and we also created, if you're familiar with Morningstar Marketplace, over there on Route 30 near Thomasville, God put it on our hearts many, many years ago to get into that market, really before it was even built. And we really had no clarity about what we were supposed to do there. We've tried different things over the years, but it's finally clear to us What it will be, sort of, I think, perpetually, and it is called the Sonnewald Exchange. It is a free community book swap based on the Little Free Library. The model of a Little Free Library is we are a registered Little Free Library. It's just that we're really big. It's 16 by 24, and it's anybody can take books and leave them there. You can take books, you can leave books. It's a free community book swap. And we also promote a lot of health and sustainability efforts throughout the community. You know, Buy Fresh, Buy Local, you know, the York County Food Alliance. Now we have York Fresh Food Farms, Y3F Horn Farm, you know, it's out in, you know, the Pelham area. In fact, right at this very moment, I'm going to very quickly plug the Small Star Art House is showing a film 2 times tomorrow called Seed, The Untold Story. For all of you who eat, it would be wise to know what's happening to our seeds. It would be very, very wise to know what's happening to our seeds. So the good folks at Small Star Art House added several more showings, and tomorrow, which is Thursday at 3:30, and again at 5:30 and 7:30. Patty, do I have that right? Yes. 5:30 and 7:30 at the Small Star Art Theater. If you haven't discovered that neat little place on West Market Street, find out what's happening to seeds, because if you want to keep eating, and certainly eating healthfully, we should know what's happening to seeds. You might have a perspective about that. So, I wanted to take just a couple minutes. They want me to wrap up at 1:20. Okay, I'm at 1:20 now. I'm gonna, in case some of you have to leave, I'm gonna jump a card and wrap this up. And then if anybody wants to stay, I have a little bit more I'd love to share with you about the unique structure at Sonnewald, okay? Because when Bill and I are gone, that Sonnewald Natural Foods will run itself without physical owners, managers, or supervisors. This is something God's put on our heart. I'd love to share that, but for those of you who must leave promptly, I want to just to share with you that our success at Sonnewald is built on a passion for helping people, pure motives, impeccable integrity, strong morals, quality products, honest information. We're a retail store with the heart of a ministry. My parents felt, it was like God said, by the way, Grace and Harold, a store is part of this. It's like they accepted it as a divine assignment. Bill and I carry this forward. We take our work at Sonnewald very, very seriously. We feel this is a divine assignment, and we are now working diligently to prepare the way to hand this. I have no children. Bill has grown children from a previous marriage, you know, with their own lives and interests. But the Sonnewald Life Institute, which was mentioned, Courtney mentioned, we formed a nonprofit a few years ago. The Sonnewald Life Institute will carry on the legacy of Sonnewald after we are gone. But yes, we feel that it's a, like I said, we feel like it's a spiritual assignment that I'll be quite honest with you, I don't always like it. It's very, very hard to pioneer a new structure when we have all grown up either in a system of hierarchy. We've all grown up either being the boss, or being trained to be the boss, or not wanting that much responsibility. And God is saying, remember, there's a scripture that talks about in the low places, something in the mountains will be brought down and the low places will be raised up. And what we believe he's doing at Sonnewald is he's bringing us all into a place of equality. So this team will be carrying on, eventually without us. If you're interested in more about that, I want to just be mindful of the time. If you're interested in any more about that, I'm here. I'm also at Sonnewald. I'm not in the store, but you can reach me through Sonnewald. And if you want to hear of any of our exciting plans for the future, which I don't really have time to share with you, some of that we can certainly fill that in for you as well. So God bless you so much, and thank you for inviting us. We're really honored to be here.